So, hello. I come to you again with our podcast. We're talking about what's happening in the legislative session. I have missed you for 2 weeks, and that is because we have been so busy that I haven't been able to sit down and do the podcast because at the time we're having the podcast, we're actually supposed to be on the floor. And actually, the bell is ringing now, but I wanted to take this time to come back to you so that we can give you some updates. So, what's currently happened, this is the week of April 26th we're looking at. We only have 2 weeks left in this session. It ends on May the 14th at 6 o'clock is the constitutional adjournment. So let's run down some things that happened recently. What happened was we had a vote on the Medicaid expansion. And I know all of you were waiting to hear about Medicaid expansion. What happened was by initiative petition, the eligibility expanded. And so what that means that people 19 to 64 are now eligible. That's what the petition said. So what the opposite contention is, there's not a funding mechanism in place for this. So let's just talk about the cost. So the feds pay about 90% and the state picks up 10%. And right now it's approximately $150 million. Well, with the FMAT money that came down from the federal government, including the several packages that were done in January, we have enough savings to absorb the cost, at least for approximately the next 5 years. It was defeated on the floor in a 14-20 vote. And if you look at the Constitution, it's Article 3, Section 51, and some of this might be boring for some individuals, but I do apologize. I wanted to give you the factual context to what's happening with the Medicaid expansion. The Constitution, Article 3, Section 51 of the Constitution states that an initiative petition can't appropriate funding unless it's creating new funding. That's what it says. So this petition was not creating any new funding. What it was doing was expanding eligibility requirements. So I want to argue that the Constitution says they can't fund it since it didn't have a funding mechanism. My argument is that it wasn't creating a new source of revenue and it wasn't appropriating any existing revenue. It was expanding the eligibility requirements for Medicare. So it's all going to wash out in court, which it should go on July 1st, and we'll see who's wrong and who's right. And I don't know how much that's going to cost us because actually to go ahead and implement it is approximately $150 million. So I'm not sure how much it's going to cost us to battle this in court. Another thing that came up that we spent a lot of time on was House Bill 4, which is a budget bill. And it was the Missouri Department of Transportation. There was an amendment proposed to allow concealed carry on public transit. That amendment didn't get to go on there. There was a point of order made in reference to the amendment saying that the senator was trying to legislate through the appropriations process. It didn't get on there, but there is a bill out there that's still trying to do that. And we also have a bill that's making it a felon and a crime for police officers to enforce federal gun laws in the state. I'll come back to you with more information on that. That bill is also on the floor. It was of contentious debate on that bill as well. In other news, we have Senate Bill 45 that's creating a provision for firefighters who contracted certain types of cancer as a result of employment. That was a pretty good piece of legislation. We had Senate Bill 272 that passed out prohibiting the publishing of identifying information of lottery winners unless it is authorized by the lottery winner themselves. And there was a host of other legislation. We had Senate Bill 202. It modifies some provisions relating to electrical corporations. Senate Bill 78, modifying the hiring process for state employees. You might want to look at that. That's Senate Bill 78. And you can pull all of this up on senate.mo.gov. And if you're not getting this newsletter, you can also get this newsletter mailed to you by sending me an email at karla.may@senate.mo.gov. So it's a bunch of things that happen. We've also got the education bills that are coming up. So at the end of next week, I'm going to talk about those bills because they'll be coming up on the floor today. So with that, I'm going to sign off because I need to get to the floor, but I wanted to give you some updated information about what we're doing right now. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you soon.